memo from Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot explains exactly what's transpiring behind the scenes over at Ubisoft right now and how the shutdown of XDefiant is just the first domino to fall of many. And yes, I know everyone's shocked to hear that. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. And Ubisoft is beginning to crumble. This is the first tangible piece of evidence of that. Now, I know we've all talked about it for a while and saying, I can't believe Ubisoft is still out there, still putting these games together. Woke fest, DEI injected nightmares, pushing ideologies on people that don't want anything to do with it. Well, now we have news that XDefiant shutting down, they're closing down studios and laying people off. How much worse could it get? Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article breaking down how this leaked memo from Yves Guillemot exposes far more than Ubisoft wanted to about the near-term and long-term future prospects of this company. Ubisoft, once a giant in the video game industry, is now teetering on the edge of full-blown collapse, all thanks to their diversity, equity, and inclusion ideology-driven insanity. Recent news has come through that XDefiant, alongside the closure of production studios in San Francisco, Osaka, and layoffs at the Sydney office, feels like the first tangible domino to fall in what is turning into a chain reaction that could define Ubisoft's ultimate demise. And this leaked memo comes from Tom Henderson at Insider Gaming, an email that was sent out to employees at Ubisoft talking about the future and what to look forward to. Hello everyone, it's been some time since I last spoke to you, and I apologize for this silence, especially as the past months have been challenging and unsettling for Ubisoft and likely each of you. The announcement by Marie-Sophie regarding the discontinuation of XDefiant, the closure of the San Francisco and Osaka studios, and the ramp down of the Sydney production site is among the difficult decisions we've had to make. I want to take this opportunity to pay tribute to the tremendous work done by XDefiant's teams, and he goes on talking about all the great work that they did that just didn't amount to anything because, well, let's be honest, before I even go further in this leaked memo, Ubisoft really screwed the pooch when it came to XDefiant. Instead of putting it on Steam and trying to find a more solid foundational player base, they decided to push Ubisoft Connect and their online launcher service because Ubisoft saw the future of not owning games and trying to curtail everyone to their platform. And it just didn't work. And I could have told them this from day one, alongside plenty of other gamers as well, that don't want additional launchers on their PC. They want one place to go for all their games. Ubisoft saw this as a way to make money, and if they could create their own ecosystem, just like Apple does with their products, then they can make even more money off people. Problem being, Ubisoft didn't have enough of a draw for Ubisoft Connect to really take off. And while I'm not going to bore you guys with this entire memo, I do want to focus on the important part, scrolling down a little further where it says, I'm well aware that, given the current context, such announcements may worry you, and that's understandable. The entire industry is facing similar difficult decisions, yet often the scale of the impact is much larger. Our organization has allowed us to limit the impact of these kinds of decisions and make more targeted restructurings, and all our efforts are focused on trying to maintain this course and philosophy, which sounds great on the surface if you take Ubisoft at face value, which if you do that, I got a bridge to sell you. But what he says next exposes everything about what they're thinking in the background. We will continue working on evolving our organization to adapt it to market changes and with a long-term perspective in mind. And you pair that with what he said just a few sentences earlier about how the entire video game industry is going through a dynamic shift right now in a downturn, and pairing that with, and we're going to adjust it to market conditions, tells me that they have a lot more layoffs coming up. Now, what I thought was really fascinating is how they talk about the employee surveys in this leaked memo. Over the past few weeks, I've had the chance to read the results of the Ubisoft XP 2024 survey. The vast majority of you participated. The response rate was over 86%, and you've shared your questions and concerns about the future of Ubisoft via more than 55,000 comments. Which means that out of the 86% of employees that participated, that's about 19,000 or so employees overall at Ubisoft, we're looking at about, 2 to 3 questions and concerns per person. That's how concerned these people are working at Ubisoft right now. Yikes. Now, I can't really say I blame them. I'd be just as concerned. I talked about this in my live stream the other day where I'm just like, if I was an employee at Ubisoft right now, first off, I'd have gotten my resume ready and been looking for a while before this moment. But after what just transpired with XDefiant, I would be proactively, feet on the ground, knocking on doors, saying, hey, I got game industry experience. Yeah, I worked at Ubisoft. Don't worry about that. But I would love to find out more about this indie company and work with you guys because, I don't know. I'm just really taking a liking to a company that's not Ubisoft. Why should they be concerned? Well, Ubisoft announced that the closure of its San Francisco and Osaka production studios alongside the ramp down of Sydney production team resulted in laying off 277 employees while also transferring a large amount of people to other studios trying to keep them gainfully employed, at least for the time being. And I say for the time being because the cracks in Ubisoft's foundation go well beyond an individual game failures. Guillemot's all-staff email hinted at a deeper systematic issue, referencing new initiatives to streamline processes and focus more on creativity, but his promises have rung pretty hollow in light of the company's mounting layoffs and studio closures. Ubisoft's leadership appears more reactive than proactive and cutting costs to survive rather than addressing any of the root causes of the woes that they have. You know, pushing the whole diversity, equity, and inclusion thing as the priority of the company, having girls-only educational grants and scholarships, and pushing females in the workforce instead of, focusing on talented developers to make great games and making sure that at the end of the day, is what your company is doing. Everything else kind of falls by the wayside. But with Ubisoft, it feels like no matter how many times they get taught this lesson, they keep stubbornly going back into, yeah, the games are cool, it's a great side effect, but ultimately, we want to make sure we're pushing diversity, equity, inclusion here, which I guess we get to see the results of it, and nobody's really surprised. The lackluster performance of XDefiant forced Ubisoft to pull the plug, even though a few months ago they reassured everyone that it wasn't going anywhere. Don't worry about this, we're Ubisoft. We wouldn't lie to you. Well, they ended up lying to you. They've ceased all downloads and player registrations, while honestly, I gotta commend them for committing to keep the game servers active until June 2025 as a token of gesture to the current player base. And I gotta be honest, that move was actually pretty surprising, especially in light of knowing who Ubisoft is and what they typically do to screw over customers. Keeping this game running until June 2025 for the current player base is nice. That's a good move by them. I want to at least recognize the good things when they do that, as minimal as they might be in the grand scheme here. The collapse of XDefiant feels like the first tangible domino to fall in a much larger line. Ubisoft's inability to adapt, combined with their dwindling financials and complete erosion of player trust, tells everyone that the worst is yet to come. Every failed project, every layoff, and every single studio closure they have accelerates the company's decline, creating a self-reinforcing cycle that can only end one way. And absolutely nobody should be surprised when that glorious day comes, because it almost feels like Ubisoft has worked so tirelessly injecting DEI and ideologies not just into their games, but into the company culture and the actual people that they're hiring that contributes directly to the downfall of quality of their games. We're seeing the results of that as gamers right now. This is what they wanted. Otherwise, why would they have done that? The craziest part about all of this is if Ubisoft's trajectory continues to go unchecked, the February 2025 release of Assassin's Creed Shadows could very well be the last major project that comes out of Ubisoft before they ultimately collapse and disappear. if they can make it that far in the first place. And I know at recording, it's only a few months away. We're early December right now of 2024. So I think they should be able to make it to that point. But based off of everything I'm seeing right now, I don't really know. And I'm definitely not going to be believing Ubisoft if they tell me otherwise at this point either. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com for the full article. I will link it in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, you stay smashing.
I'd like to say a few words about internal issues that have come to light recently. This summer, we learned that certain Ubisoft employees did not uphold our company's values, and that our systems failed to protect the victims of their behavior. I am truly sorry to everyone who was hurt. Smash,